Rowie, what are you doing? I'm choosing to get puffed. I'm choosing to be healthy, fit and strong. I'm choosing to stay that way for the rest of my life. And isn't it awesome that that's a choice? As a human being, I get to choose to be healthy. I get to choose to have strong bones, to be mentally healthy, outside, fresh air, sunshine, get puffed, pump happy drugs into my brain, strong bones, strong muscles, all a choice. What if it wasn't a choice? What if I had to be fit? What if there was a government regulation that said every year, like we do with tax, you have to check in with the health department or the Ministry of Health. They're going to check your blood pressure, your resting heart rate, your blood sugar levels, your blood fat levels. And if you're not healthy, there's going to be a consequence. You either have to pay a fine or we're going to put you in jail. Because the interesting thing about jail is in jail we can control what you eat, we can control how much exercise you do. So we could put you in there for a while, get you healthy again, and then you can go out into society. Sounds a bit bizarre, doesn't it? But is it? If you don't pay your taxes, the consequence is that you go to jail in most countries. If you commit a crime, now you could choose to commit a crime, but you have to understand that there are consequences and you can end up in jail. If you've lived in 2020, 21, 2022, in a lot of countries, there were some serious consequences if you didn't do what the government told you to do medically. You had to live a certain way, have a certain medical intervention, do certain things in your life. Whether you liked it or not, you had to do it, and there were some serious consequences if you didn't. And in some countries, you were locked away, literally. In other countries, if you went to the country and you wanted to go out into society, you had to be locked up for 1 or 2 weeks, sometimes more, and you had to eat the food that they gave you and you had to breathe the air that they gave you, and you weren't allowed to go out and exercise because that's what the government said. So there was a consequence there was a serious consequence for some people for not doing what the government said. So it's not so far-fetched. I'm not standing here with some weird idea. We now know, and it'll go down in history as a time where the government aimed to control our health. And for right or wrong reasons, I'm not here to argue that. What I am really interested in and concerned about is our kids that are growing up in a world where it is perfectly normal now to be overweight, to have coronary heart disease, type 2 diabetes, osteoporosis, to be depressed, to be anxious, to have a stroke, to get Alzheimer's and dementia really early, and to have very poor quality of life. It's become normal to be diseased. And that's not, again, a number that I've just pulled out of nowhere. We now have in most countries, out of those killer diseases that are completely preventable and curable, which no one ever seems to talk about prevention and cure, but those diseases have become normal. It's more than 50% of people have one or more of those, and you've probably heard this word comorbidity, things that could kill you. Now, some people they have a bad heart. Some people just have type 2 diabetes. Some people just have osteoporosis, but that's not usually the case. Usually people have one or multiple comorbidities. So when they die of those horrible diseases, nobody really knows what they died of because they had so many things that could have killed them. So it's become normal to be unhealthy. The consequence now for making different choices for your life, so if you're not fit and you're not strong and you end up with these horrible diseases, here's one of the things that's a big challenge. You end up costing the taxpayer, the country, billions, if not trillions of dollars, depending on the size of the country. So what if it was there was no choice? You had to rock up every year like you do to the tax person and prove that I've paid my taxes. This is how much I earned. This is how much tax I'm going to pay. What if you had to prove that you had a low resting heart rate, healthy blood pressure, healthy blood sugar levels, you had healthy blood fat levels, and that you're a fit, active person who had the right to live in society? And it sounds weird, doesn't it? But it's not when you consider that if you don't pay your tax, you go to jail. And we've lived now through and who knows what's going to happen in the future, but we've lived through 2 years where if you don't do that, you end up locked up for 1 or 2 weeks until you are ready to go out into society. Imagine, and this is just my utopia, there's a good word. Imagine a world where everybody was fit and strong. Imagine if everybody had a healthy resting heart rate, healthy blood pressure, healthy blood sugar levels, and healthy blood fat levels. Now, we get to choose, unlike animals and plants and trees who have to just be plants and trees and do their thing every day. Humans don't have to. We can smoke, and humans do. Even though they know that it's going to kill them probably, humans still smoke. And I don't want people to be controlled like that. I don't want somebody to say you can't smoke, because that's a human has that choice. We know that if you eat too much food, there's a high likelihood that you'll end up overweight. You might end up morbidly obese, and that comes with all sorts of comorbidities that will end up costing the government of most countries billions, if not trillions of dollars. But I don't want people running around to, don't eat that, it's bad for you. You're eating too much and you're going to cost the country a lot of money. But it's funny that we've lived through 2 years of you have to do that, and people were actually looking at you, and if you didn't do what the government told you to do, there were people that were really aggressively angry at you for not doing it. Interestingly, if you are not a healthy person, if you're not fit and you're not strong, you're going to cost the taxpayers a lot of money. Not you personally, perhaps, but that is just a generally accepted fact in the countries of the world, that the preventable diseases, and I say them again because they are preventable and or curable if you're fit and strong. And even if they're not curable, you are less likely to cost the governments lots of money, because you won't have the disease for as long, and it's less likely to get back, to come back. So things like type 2 diabetes, the only prevention and cure is being healthy, fit and strong. There's an argument that it's the same for heart attacks. Up to 80% of cardiovascular disease, coronary heart disease, is considered to be completely preventable and curable by being fit and strong. The osteoporosis, completely curable and preventable if you lift heavy things, you've got muscles pulling on your bones. There's an argument now about depression, Alzheimer's, dementia, all the brain challenges, that if you're fit and strong, you are less likely to have a challenge with them. And most importantly, for me, is that those things, that they control our life. Your brain controls everything that you do. And if you're fit and strong and you've got a healthier brain, is it possible that the world could actually be a better place? Hallelujah! Woohoo! So it's never going to happen. No, there's never going to be a government that says if you're not healthy, we're going to put you in jail until you are. But I would have thought 2 years ago that if the government said you have to stay inside your house, and if you come outside your house, we're going to lock you up, I would have thought that was impossible too. So maybe that could happen. But I'm going to go a step further. And I think this is the all-important step. Because I'm a happy taxpayer, and I'm a happy non-speeder, and I'm a happy non-crime person. I have no interest in being a criminal. I have no interest in speeding, because I've seen what car accidents do. And I have no interest in not paying tax, because I've been to countries where there isn't a tax system, and I don't want to live there. I happily pay tax because I like to drive on a road. I like to know that there is a hospital if I need one. I like to know that there are schools if kids want to go to them. I like to know that there is infrastructure that the government, that tax pays for, that the government looks after and that tax pays for. So I'm a very happy taxpayer. I don't have to be forced to pay tax. I like to pay tax. I don't have to be forced to drive slowly, and I've had some magnificent, fast, high-speed cars, but I have no interest in driving them fast because I would like to stay alive for a very long time. So no one has to force me to stick to the speed limit because I like to stick to the speed limit. I think that's there for a reason. And nobody has to force me to not go and steal somebody's stuff, or not draw on somebody's building, or not murder somebody. I'm not that person. I don't want to do that. Nobody has to force me not to do that. So wouldn't it be nice if we wanted to be healthy, fit and strong? Wouldn't it be nice if we decided to get fit, get strong and stay that way for the rest of our lives without having to be forced to do it? Wouldn't it be nice if we're a parent, a teacher, a coach, and for our kids we wanted to live that way so that they don't grow up in this world that has, where it's now become normal to be sick and diseased and overweight and depressed? It's actually become normal. 50% or more of people have multiple comorbidities. I'm going to say that again because I think that's horrible. And it's preventable and it's curable, and we could change it. So what are we going to do? I don't know if I can change the world, but I rock up here every day for Romax. I do this for a reason. I want our kids to grow up in a world where they can be healthy, fit and strong for long. I want our kids to know that you don't have to be depressed. You don't have to be overweight. You don't have to have coronary heart disease. You don't have to get type 2 diabetes. You don't have to get old and frail and weak just because you get chronologically older. Wouldn't it be nice if our kids had an option and could see that you can live to 100, 120 and be healthy, fit and strong? I just listened to an interview with a guy that's 100 years of age. He's still running 5 miles 3 times a week. He's a really smart, switched on guy. And he was asked, tell me about your life. And he said, oh, this is the best life I've ever lived. This part of my life is my best life. And I think if you're 100 years of age, that's probably true, because every day is special. That would be a bee that's following me around. Isn't that awesome? Hello, Mr. Bee. See, he can't control what he does. He just does what bees do. Woohoo! But we are humans. We get to choose. The government may never force us to be healthy, fit and strong. But what if we forced ourselves? What if we decided that we were going to be healthy, fit, strong human beings, Mr. B, and stay that way for the rest of our life? It's a choice. So I'm going to be here every day. I'm going to be sharing every day how to get fit, how to get strong, how to have a career or business that you love, how to be financially free, and how to have great relationships. And as I always share, the most important relationship is the one that you have for yourself, with yourself. So how to be a happy taxpayer, how to be a person who doesn't want to commit crimes, how to have loyalty and integrity and respect, and how to be the healthiest, fittest, strongest person and keep getting healthier, fitter and stronger for the rest of your life. What if that wasn't forced? What if that was a choice? Wouldn't that be awesome? My name's Rowie. Thank you for coming to Romax. And if you think this message can add value to somebody else's life, please share it. Here's my happy song for today. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, take a little jump. If you're happy and you know it, then you really ought to show it. If you're happy and you know it, have a super duper day. Woohoo!